The LW Seecamp 32. Let's check it out. The Seecamp 32 and 380 ACP pistols are the smallest semi-automatics being currently made. They are very tiny, but yet they are precision made. This is great for deep cover, it's very comfortable to carry, and it's just one of those guns that when you have on you, you forget it until you need it. Ludwig Wilhelm Seecamp, a long name for a little bitty pistol. Now you guys know I love pocket pistols and mouse guns. They're just so easy to pack away, they're a lot of fun. Typically they're fairly inexpensive, especially a lot of the ones that were imported into the country before the 1968 Gun Control Act. But one pistol that I get more requests than any other is the Seecamp, and specifically the Seecamp 32. Seecamp is a very fine finished pistol. In fact, it's what I would consider the Rolls-Royce of the pocket pistols because it's just so small. It is the smallest current production semi-automatic pistol, definitely the smallest 32 ACP. They do make it in a 380 ACP that is the exact same dimensions as the 32. Originally in 1981 they started out with the 25 ACP, which was discontinued in 1985. But the 32 has been extremely popular, mainly because of the lack of recoil that the 380 really produces. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure the gun is unloaded. We need to remove the magazine. Now there is a magazine disconnect, so I have to disengage the magazine disconnect right here to be able to check the chamber, and the gun is empty. Obviously it does have the heel type mag release, which right down here at the bottom, which is from European styling, but honestly for this pistol you need the mag release right here. Up here it would actually add to the dimensions of the pistol. Seecamp was started by Ludwig Wilhelm Seecamp, which was from Germany. In fact, he even served in World War II with the mountain troops on the Eastern Front. This is a double action pistol only, and that means that when you pull the trigger it brings the hammer back. He was really big on double action pistols because during the war he was actually shot at close range in the face. Had a lifelong scar down the side of his cheek, some teeth were missing from a Russian that had shot him. But what saved his life was his P38 Walther, and because it was double action, he said that is one of the things that saved his life. Ludwig Wilhelm Seecamp moved into the United States in 1973 and began the company. This gun is based very heavily on the CZ36 or CZ45 25 ACP double action pistols. And you know, that's no secret. Definitely with the hammer being brought back, I mean, it makes a very positive action. The slide, very smooth. Everything is fit to perfection. We've got LW Seecamp Company right on the slide. The serrations, easy to grip. And then right here at the top of the barrel, 32 ACP LWS for Ludwig Wilhelm Seecamp, Southwick, Massachusetts. You know, it's kind of funny, there's a lot of firearms that are still made in those areas that are really attacking the Second Amendment. It's really kind of a shame. One of the things you're going to notice though immediately about this pistol, and something I just want to go ahead and bring out, is there are no sights on the Seecamp. This is a deep cover point and shoot pistol. It is made for up close and personal, and that's where most of your self-defense situations happen. Now when I say this gun is small, I have medium-sized hands, and this thing just hides behind my hand. I mean, it's just so tiny. To give you a comparison, let's bring out the Ruger LCP. One of the smallest little production pistols, in fact what I used to call the micro pistol. The Seecamp is incredibly smaller. But to give you more of a comparison for caliber, we have the Beretta Tomcat in .32, definitely smaller in a lot of different dimensions. And then of course another favorite is your J-frame Smith & Wesson .38, and definitely again incredibly smaller. In fact, on the Seecamp website there is a comparison chart with all the small pistols and all the dimensions, and there's a lot of services on the Seecamp website. I mean, they're very proud of their heritage. But the grips, a nice fiber reinforced grip with checkering all down the side, smooth back strap, smooth front strap. It is all stainless steel, which really adds to just the beauty of this pistol. It's a nice polish, not super polish, just a little bit of a matte, but it has a really nice finish to it. Ample trigger guard to be able to get your finger in, and of course there's no safeties, external safeties on this model because it is double action. Just like on your Smith & Wesson J-frame revolver, you don't need a safety. But now in California and Massachusetts compliant pistols, they have a small external safety right here. Right at the top you'll see a little slit between the barrel and the slide, and this is your loaded chamber indicator. At the rear of the slide you see the hammer. You can see how well everything is fit. I mean, this gun is just incredibly precision fit in every aspect. You have your small extractor. It is, though, a blowback design, and that means the recoil of the round actually forces the slide back and then forces another round into the chamber. Now, not having sights when this was introduced, it was a big hoopla in the gun world. I mean, people were going crazy. But one of the things about this is because the slide is so thin and the pistol is so thin, it's less than 3/4 of an inch. It's 0.725 of an inch, which is really thin. And this actually makes a nice sight, just the slide itself. So bringing that in and just lining up the slide, you're able to get on target, especially at distances that this pistol was meant to engage in. Now with at 21 feet 7 yards, of course, no sights. We had a pretty elongated group, but it was definitely in the kill zone. So I like that, and no snag. And this is again a point and shoot. This is not a precision target pistol. Easy to see targets. And for the accuracy, we were shooting the 60 grain 32 ACP Winchester silver tips. Unloaded, the pistol weighs 11.5 ounces, loaded 13.25 ounces. Now this is an all stainless steel pistol, it's not an alloy frame, so that's going to add a little bit to the weight. But to be honest with you, shooting 32 ACP, you really want just a little bit of weight with this pistol. It's 4 1/4 inches in length, it's 3 1/4 inches in height, and again it's 0.75 inches in width. At the grip, it's 0.86 inches. Very concealable, very easy, and very comfortable to carry. Now we're going to safety check the pistol, and it is unloaded. I want to check the trigger. It is a double action trigger only. That means that when I pull the trigger, the hammer comes back. There's no way to grab the hammer for single action. It's double action only. But it's long, but it's really smooth. And just smooth, consistent, and then you have a good snap. We are going to check, though, the trigger weight. We're going to use our Lyman trigger gauge. .85 ounces. 9.8 ounces. So it's really consistent, and you know, that's not bad. Really, when you're firing it at the range, you're not really thinking about the trigger pull. Now, Seecamp has a list of recommended self-defense loads that go with this pistol that have proven themselves to be reliable. One is the Spear Gold Dot and jacketed hollow point, an excellent round for sure. The Winchester Silver Tips, they're also one that Seecamp recommends. And, which I don't have, is some Federal Hydra Shocks in 32 ACP. Now, while I was there and I found some other self-defense loads, I thought I would try them out. And of course with Corbon, their standard jacketed hollow points, and with their DPX. And then also with the Hornady, and this is their XTP jacketed hollow points. And we're going to try these out at a later date. For right now, we're going to just do all of our testing with these. I do have a couple of extra boxes of this to be able to test through. We're going to be doing some more with this because I really am excited about this small little pistol and I want to see what it can do. Now, one thing that you really want to be careful of is that the chamber itself has a recessed ring around it inside the chamber. We can't see it, but what that does is allows the case to expand, and then the extractor pulls it out. If you don't keep that clean, it can cause a few issues. So you need to make sure that you do keep your firearm suitably lubricated. And one of the things they recommend is taking some oil with a Q-tip or with a pipe cleaner inside the chamber and just cleaning out that recessed area. It's toward the front of the chamber. So that's just one thing that you'll want to watch out about. You know, guys, this isn't one of the SHTF all heck breaking loose pistol. This is a fine machine, and it will function and it will work great. But there are certain steps you need to do just to make sure that happens. Just like keeping your oil changed in your vehicles and keeping gas in it. You know, you're running the right kind of gas, keeping your car maintained is the same kind of concept that it is with this pistol. And to be honest with you, it's that way with any pistol. Just got back from the range. I was expecting more recoil. I really was. I was expecting it to be a little more harsh, a little more snappy. And it just wasn't. I guess I was more concentrating on the double action trigger pull, which was very smooth as we demonstrated, but you know, it's long. And you'll notice a couple of times where I'm, especially rapid fire, I'm shooting and then I hesitate after about 3 rounds and then go again. And that has everything to do with constantly shooting you know, striker fire or single action pistols. Had 0 malfunctions using Spear Gold Dot, and then switching to the silver tips from Winchester. You know, it was a pretty seamless switch. I didn't really notice much difference in the recoil. Shot about 150 rounds and no malfunctions whatsoever. I mean, it was just really a pleasure to shoot. I would not mind going down right now and shooting another 150 rounds because it just wasn't bad. I mean, my hand is fine. I don't even feel hardly like I've been shooting. And it was a real pleasure. Getting used to not having sights is definitely something about this pistol. You know, but really you're looking down the barrel anyway, you're looking down the slide and you just line the slide up. Yeah, and accuracy is not all that great, but it's not too bad. I mean, you're getting all your shots where you need to. Every once in a while I'd miss the steel when I would get a little bit rapid, but I think between the double action and no sights and it being so small, you know, shooting larger pistols again, you know, being used to that. So if you're going to carry something like this, again, you really need to get out to the range. It's very important. Whether it's a Ruger LCP, whether it's a Smith & Wesson J-frame, but especially something this small. You need to master your firearms, and there's a little bit more discipline that you need with something like this than with some of the larger pistols. But again, one big thing about this pistol that has a huge advantage is the size. It's so small, it's so easy to put away in your pocket, and it's to conceal. And if you really need it, instead of leaving that gun at home or in your vehicle, you've got it right at your fingertips, and I think that's huge. Now, disassembly of the firearm is a little unorthodox, but it has a lot to do with the size of this pistol. It's a little bit of a trade-off. And so what you need is a punch and a 3/32 punch, and you need at least a shell, if not a full cartridge of a 32 ACP. Let's make sure the gun is unloaded. We're going to remove the magazine. You'll need to reinsert the magazine, but only make sure there's still a gap here where it disengages the mag safety, but you can still operate the slide. And bring back the slide and we see that it is empty. Now bring back the slide and then slip your shell into it and cause a gap. Right here on this side there's a little hole in the slide. behind this is a little plunger, and you need just to push that, just to press it in straight down. One thing you want to be careful of, because you're going to lift the back of the slide and you can catch on this if you're not careful. Push it and then just bring the slide up, just like that. Once it's up, bring it back a little bit and let the shell fall free. And then we just bring the slide up, and then right here we have our double springs, and these springs are intertwined. These are your recoil springs. And of course your barrel is right here fixed to the frame. We're going to release the magazine, and that's pretty much all you need to do to field strip the pistol. You can take off the grips and begin to take a lot of these parts off. We may look at that a little bit later. There are a couple of YouTube videos about it, but you don't need to do that for regular field maintenance. Now while we have it open, let's just go ahead and take a look at the finishing. I mean, this is a machine. It is beautiful. You have your hammer here, and this is the part that you depress to get your slide off. But I'm telling you guys, this is really a work of art. Very well done. A lot of hand fitting, a lot of hand polishing. Now to reassemble the pistol, we don't need any tools, but you want to go ahead and insert your magazine. And you can fully seat it. Take your springs, and where the two are doubled up, because one of the springs is longer than the other. Take the two that are doubled up and slide it under the barrel, and there's a small cavity that fits into. Take your slide, get a hold of the spring through the barrel. Now take your hammer and go ahead and bring it back just a little bit. And then once you have that hole over that plunger, it'll snap right into place like that. And then, of course, the magazine is in. You want to double check to make sure that it's functioning, and it is. Definitely a little different than your regular pistols, but this is a different pistol. It's definitely a different design. Now one thing I want to warn you about, especially if you're disassembling or removing your magazine, if you get your magazine partially out, you can still, the trigger will still bring the hammer back. If the magazine, if you have it already depressed and you pull the magazine out, it can break the spring that's in here, or at least deform it. And so you'll just want to be careful. Once you pull that magazine out, do not mess with your trigger if it's partially inserted, because that can cause you some problems. In fact, I did it after reading the warning. I didn't read it all the way through, and I did it, and I ended up having to take the grip off and the side plate, and I took the spring and fixed it, and it was no big deal. But if you do pull, and just don't do it. I'm telling you, just don't do it. But if you're pulling the trigger back as you're taking out the magazine, that can cause an issue. And one of the things you'll know is you won't be able to insert your magazine. Do not force your magazine in there if you have a lot of resistance. Now the box is just a cardboard box, of course, with the pistol, and it is wrapped. And then we have our owner's manual. There's a lot of details in the owner's manual with disassembly and some other things, how to care for it, and pretty concise. And then of course, you know, other information that's in here. The retail price on the Seecamp 32 is $565. The California version is $595, and that includes the manual safety. I saw a number of these on Gunbroker for $499 and $475. And for the 380, the retail price is $845. Saw a number again on Gunbroker for around the $650, $700 range. So, you know, just go out there and search. I didn't really find them in any retail gun websites. Most of them were either like auction sites. So they're around, and they're very finely made. And so, you know, you search, you can find them. They even had some of the old 25 ACPs on gunbroker.com as well. Now your extra magazines run $35 a piece. If you get the extra anodized aluminum base plate, which has a little finger groove, that by itself runs $45. So, you know, it's a little bit pricey, but I'm sure those are just handmade. Then you have your Bear Creek holster, pocket holster. This is for front or back holster or carry, and these run $75 on the Seecamp website. Now let's talk about some of the pros and cons of the Seecamp 32 pistol. Pros first, it's really tiny, easy to conceal. I mean, you can put this in your pocket and nobody would know it's there. And you do have 32 ACP, which, while it's not one of the most potent calibers for self-defense, it's definitely effective. And you have 6 rounds. It is semi-automatic. You can carry an extra magazine in your back pocket, and really easy to deploy. It's accurate, it's fast, and it's very reliable. Some of the cons are it is a super small pistol, and it's going to inherently have issues that you have with a small pistol, with the grip being small. You know, that's especially for guys that are a lot larger, big guys with big hands. This would just swallow it up, your hand would. But it's still very shootable even then. Another thing is it only shoots jacketed hollow point bullets, which is not a big deal because that's what you want to carry for self-defense, especially in a .32 ACP, but you're really not going to be practicing with this a whole lot at the range. It's not, even though it can take it, it's not really made to go out to the range and spend the afternoon shooting, you know, 500 rounds. And the ammo cost, because it is .32 ACP, sometimes it can be difficult to find, and then with the recommended ammo for this pistol, that even makes it a little more difficult. I had 2 trips, one to Cabela's, one to Palmetto State Armory, to find the ammunition that I needed. And even though I did find ammunition that was suitable, I had to go to 2 different places to find it. And so that could be a downside. As far as the quality of this pistol, it is superb. It is an excellent pistol. And for me, one of the things that I have a dilemma about is sometimes I need to carry concealed, and it just needs to be super concealed. No one needs to be able to see it, and you know, in any kind of print. And so while right now I have a Glock 26 on my back, which is a fairly small pistol, it can print, it is thicker, but having something like this, it is so easy. No matter how I'm dressed, no matter what I'm wearing, I can get away with carrying something like this. So I can tell you right now, I'm in the hunt for more ammunition for this gun and to get it back out to the range. And we are going to be doing some more testing with some of the other ammos that are not necessarily under the recommended list from Seecamp. And a lot of the reasons why some of that ammunition is not recommended or isn't under that list is because it just hasn't been tested enough. There were some reports of Corbon having some issues, and we'll find out. But overall, this is a great little pistol, and I think it's going to be perfect for concealed carry for those who want to do it. But again, training is the most important part of this pistol. Ludwig Beethoven made incredible music. Ludwig Seecamp made an incredible pistol. So while I've dropped my thumbs way up, the Seecamp 32, thumbs way up. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. Now, Ludwig Wilhelm Seecamp died in 1989, and the company kept. Okay, I don't know who bought it after that. Here's the at the rear of the release the magazine. Check the chamber. Oops. When you bring back the slide, and okay, you know it's going to be less. In fact, I didn't even look it up. Good grief. And I'm sure there are used ones on the same. Okay. Ludwig Beethoven, Ludwig Beethoven, Ludwig Beethoven, Ludwig Beethoven, Ludwig Beethoven made incredible music. Ludwig Beethoven,